Hello, everyone. Today is Tuesday, June 1st, and I'm here with another Trade Journal walkthrough. So today I'm going to go over all of the trades I took today. I didn't trade the full trading day, and I traded until about 1 p.m. Eastern today. So yeah, this red list here are the trades that I took. So let's start with Oxy, OXY, right here. So if we look here, we're looking at the trading day on the 5-minute. If you're familiar with my videos, you know that I have some indicators on here. We have the orb strategy, which is the high and low of the first 30 minutes of trading. And then that builds out to targets based on that orb. And I additionally have the average daily range, which are represented by the yellow and blue lines here. So let's zoom in. Where you see the two pins here are where I entered the trade and where I ultimately exited the trade. So in this case, let's get over here. I entered the trade on this candle here, and I exited here. So let's talk about what I was thinking around this time. So this orange line here is where I entered at 28. Right here, you see there was a 2-2 reversal. So we had a 2 down and a 2 up. So that is a reversal. And then we had a 2 up after that. So I always set an alert on the top half of my opening range breakout. So in this case, I had an alert go off. And then from there, I'm looking to enter the trade and exit with a tight stop loss. So my first stop loss, I put right at the top half of this top orb line here. But as the trade progressed, I moved my stop up. So I moved it here. I moved it here, back half of this candle. I moved it to the back of this candle. And then ultimately, I stopped myself out at this candle after moving it here to the wick of this previous candle here. So that moved from about $28 to $28.29, and that represented about a 20% increase in the options contract that I bought. And the option contract that I bought had a $29 strike. So knowing that I'm making these videos, I'm trying to be a bit better about documenting all of these on my chart so I can come back and speak to it later. And as you can see, based on how the day went, it did get higher. So it got higher, it rallied a bit at the end of the day here, but ultimately that was a very good time to exit. I would have been, hanging on and looking at it. And the way that I do my trading is I'll move the stop actively and I'll live, watch the candles. But I'll also set alerts for myself. So in this case, what I'll typically do is I'll put an alert at the bottom half of whatever the previous candle is. So in this case, this candle opened up here and I put an alert right here. So I got an alert as soon as it passed there. And sometimes I'll put an alert on the bottom half of the wick just so I'll know if it passes that and goes 2 down. And I'll put an alert at the top half of the wick so I know if it's going 2 up. So that was that trade. Let's move on to ET. So this is a trade that I did. I did make money on this one, but a very, very small profit. So you can see here, the orange line at 10.18 was my entry and 10.19 was my stop loss where I got out. So that actually doesn't necessarily mean I made profit on it because I remember looking at ET and I did not. So I either went zero on this, which makes sense based on the exit, or I lost a penny or something. But I'm pretty sure I made zero on this. So I entered the trade here on this candle. As you can see, there was a 2-2 reversal down here and then a 2-1-2 bullish continuation. So I actually got in a bit late if we're looking from a strat perspective, but I got in on the 2-2-2 bullish continuation. But ultimately, I got in here because my, trigger of orb strategy went off. I had this at this trigger at the top here. And ultimately, I got out because you can see there's actually a 2-2 reversal. So it was 222 bullish continuation. I get in. Then I ultimately pull my stop loss to the back half of this candle, like I told you I do, and I got stopped out at that line, and it actually went all the way down to do a 2 down, which makes this candle to this candle a reversal. And it didn't go, it did do a 2-1-2 bearish continuation, but it actually did a couple of inside activity, doji activity as well, which shows it's trading in equilibrium. So it traded sideways for a bit before going up again. So I did not get back in this. Sometimes I'll get back in and I'll draw an alert around where I see resistance, which I would have put like at the top of this candle, which is right where my stop was. But I didn't do that. So that was ET. Moving on to NEO. For NEO, I got in where you see right here, and I exited the trade right here. So this one was a loss, but very minimal, because again, what we like to do with the strat are tight stop losses. So I got in at 41.67, and I stopped myself out at 41.62. In this case, I got in on this candle, so it was a inside, and then it went to up after this inside candle. And I got in on this candle, which ultimately was a doji. But when I got in, it was here. So, the body of the candle, there was some body. And then I ultimately stopped myself out because for this one, I just put a tight stop loss. In reality, I should have put the stop loss even tighter here, and honestly should have just watched this, because this is where looking at what the candle's telling you becomes very important. Yes, this is technically a 2-2 reversal because it's a 2 up and a 2 down, but look at this. It was a doji, which shows, buyers and sellers were in equilibrium. Neither had control. And then we show very strong lower price rejection. So it went all the way down here, but ultimately the sellers remained in control. So if I was paying a little more attention, I wouldn't have gotten out of this trade. I wouldn't have moved my stop loss there. But unfortunately, I set an automatic stop loss at the time I took this trade because I was doing other things, and so I set an automatic stop loss. But if you're looking at your candles that are being formed, you can learn a lot. And last but not least, solo. So this trade I alerted to in my trade setups, and I ultimately got in at this 2-2 bullish continuation. I entered the trade here, and in a rare scenario, I'm swinging this. So I did not get rid of this trade. This again was just kind of due to the other things I had going on in this trading day, which I think I'm learning for myself. I would rather just be able to sit there and watch the candles rather than, try to do some other things alongside trading. I do trade. I say that I trade full time, but sometimes I'll take freelancing contracts. So I have a freelancing contract right now within product management and like bubble development. So that's what took my attention today. But so I am swinging this, and that's just based off of other news and charting I did with solo. But typically, I would not like to do that. But you can see here with the charting I did yesterday, there's some other targets, and it has a bit of a pivot machine gun activity on the daily, which we've talked about if you watch my trade setup video. So there are some other pivots here. So that's why I kept this, and that's why I'm swinging it, because it didn't really do much of what I wanted it to do. And I wasn't interested in taking a loss on it for, whatever reason. You can see where I did put my tight stop, though. So I entered at 404, and I had a tight stop at 403. But I did not set that as an automatic stop loss. So I ultimately didn't get stopped out. So yes, thank you for watching. Please like, please subscribe. I really enjoy making these videos for you all, so I'm going to continue doing that, and I will continue to make trade setup videos as well. So yes, thank you.